We're looking at two guys, bigger guy against a smaller guy. You can see right here, they're close. You could just tell from the body language of movement, of how people, and there we go. That's how quick it is for the sucker punch. I want to go back to this because you can see when he sucker punches him, he waits till he looks and then nails him. So what happens? From there, he gets up and the punches come. Now you can tell the smaller guy is just clinching. Now this is the reality of being in a bar fight. This is a typical move that you'll see in a street fight where the guy grabs in a headlock and is punching. He's hammering, and beautiful. What he did, he used his body weight to bring him down. He comes on top. Now what I would have done, I would have been mounting with my knee as well to make sure, and he's pummeling away. Now this is the dangerous part. People getting involved. This is what a real street fight looks like, guys. All right, guys. So as you just saw in this video, this is a very common attack. It's a sucker punch. Now a lot of people say, Nick, you don't see the sucker punch. It's always a third person who's going to hit you. But that's not true. A sucker punch is what? I'm faced with a guy and he's not making his intention like he's going to fight. To me, that's a sucker punch. So if I'm here and I'm going, what's up, man? And I'm talking to you and I just decide to punch you, that's a sucker punch. Now, as you can see, this is a textbook type of sucker punch, right? Where I'm talking to him and I look at my friend. What is his reaction? To turn around and to look at his friends. It's body language. If I'm like, yeah, man, and I look, he looks, as he looks, boom, he sucker punches him, okay? It's as simple as that. First off, you saw you're in an altercation with the person. The last thing you want to do is keep your hands up. The second thing is you want to allow any distractions to give you any opening, right? So if I step back a little bit, already I'm making it harder for him to sucker punch. If I'm staying static, right, and I'm not moving, and whether I look here, whether I look down, whether I'm trying to fake somehow, I'm always in the same position. So the guy's took in his range, he's took in his distance, and he knows exactly where he needs to go to knock you out. So what's the first thing he could have done? Is you bring your hands up, guys, this way, right here. This is the passive stance, right? So if I'm talking to him, I'm going to bring my hands. I'm going to create some distance. The second thing I'm doing, I'm looking at his hands. Does he have a weapon, right? Is he pacing? Is he moving back? Is he moving forward? Is he looking around? Is he making signals? Who's around me? Guys, this is the reality of being in a real fight or attack, especially in a bar, okay? You gotta know everything that's going on around you, okay? Now, his hands are up. He should have created some distance, brought his hands up. If he decided to sucker punch, go, just by my hands being up, even if I just bring up my hands here or the other side, I'm able to block it. So it's a passive stance where I'm opening here or here, okay? Now, another great question I get is, Nick, how high should my hands be? My hands shouldn't be up here because he sees them and he sees them as a threat. My hands are underneath his field of vision, right? So come a little bit closer, Costa. So I'm here. If I'm here, he's going to see my hands as a threat. He's going to know I could pop him and he might move back. If I keep them a little bit lower, he forgets about them. I'm also closer to striking the throat, palm striking, double palm striking, and as well as I'm ready that if he was to go around, I block. If he were to grab me, my hands are always up. Now you can see I didn't know he was going to do that. So as simple as keeping my hands up and keeping my distance, okay? So he could have easily went preemptive, or the instant he was going to strike, he could have pushed off and moved back or come in with a strike. Now, as you can see, at one point, he took him in a headlock. So put me in a headlock, which was surprising. What the guy did was just use his weight and actually managed to put him down. Now, textbook, what did he do? Headlock, start punching the head. This is another very common thing that I've seen. What you want to do first is tuck in your head so you take it on the top of the head and not the facial area. The second thing you want to do, you want to try to grab the arm or clinch so he can't move. Now, Costa's a much bigger guy and he's squeezing. So what you could do is take this hand and come around into the eyes or into the face. From there, I can pick up here. Once I come here, I can eye gouge, I can elbow, I can strike low. And the idea is to try to come around. Now, what the guy did in here wasn't bad. He came here And he just, all he did was use his weight and flip him down. Okay? So, but if your hands come up, go grab me from a headlock. My hands are up. So that's the number one thing, right? But he basically punched them. So pretend you're sucker punching me. Boom. Then go in for the headlock. Boom, and he comes here. The first thing you do is open your stance, lower your center of gravity, and try to trap and block and tuck in your head. From there, again, like I said, go into the eyes, throat, underneath. You feel this pressure point?
Yeah.
All right? And I'm not even putting a lot. By driving up the hip, now I'm creating openings to hit the groin. And from there, you could just, boom, trip him and bring him down to the ground. Okay? So those are your options that you can do. Okay? Now, if the person hasn't gotten it in my, like if he's talking to me, he hasn't pushed or shoved, I'm going to use this natural stance, which is arms are crossed. Okay? Now, a lot of people make the mistake of doing this. I don't want to do this because if he tackles me, I'm stuck. I'm here. So one arm here, the other one exactly here. Could be up a little bit higher. Okay? So from here, I can strike low. I can strike the throat. I can hammer fist the nose. And if he was to go grab me, my hands are up. Now, if he grabbed me this way, boom, this is where I throw the knee. I'll throw a knee. Depending on what he does, I can throw a headbutt. I'll try to come in as quickly as possible. Okay? So I could keep my hands up here or the Benny stance. So these are three really good stances you want to keep. The passive, the closed, and the Benny stand. The Benny stance allows me to go use a hammer fist, strike low, strike with a palm strike. When I used to work in the club, this is how I used to stand. One hand, this is my fighting stand. One hand here, one hand there. And I'm talking to the guy here. I'm creating distance. I'm aware of my surroundings. My hand is up, and he doesn't know that I'm actually in complete defensive and offensive and ready to strike because I want to lower his guard, raise his ego at any point, pop him low, high, and if he was go strike from here, my hands are up. From there, I would come in with an elbow or a hammer fist or a headbutt, depending on what he does. So again, to avoid the sucker punch, always keep your hands up. If the person is pacing or moving, take a step back. As soon as I move, he has to readjust himself immediately. He's not going to just sit there. Because if he sits there, he knows this is his range. If I move, he has to move. The fight just changed right at that moment. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I'll see you guys next Friday.